Welcome to Touchdown Town on FTN Bets and the FTN Network. I'm Gilles Gallant with FTN Bets, and I'm joined by my co-host Brendan Deeg of the National Football Post. You can follow us both on Twitter at GDog5000, and you can follow him at Brendan Deeg NFP. Well, we've been here all season, and each week we're giving out our best touchdown prop bets, and we hope to be able to make you some money along the way, give tips and strategies on the market and what to look for. And it's the divisional round, Brendan. Totals aside, forget the lines, forget the spreads. In your heart of hearts, which of these four games do you think we're going to see the most touchdowns for divisional round?
I do the second game, 49ers versus Packers today. I think there's going to be a ton of scores. You'll see from my picks. I've got two plus touchdowns in my picks in that game, and one you'll see on the show. I think that's going to be a ton of points. I think both offenses are going to roll.
Yeah, for me, I actually think it's going to be Titans-Bengals. I think there's going to be a ton of touchdowns in this game today. I think both offenses are a little more underrated. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on each other. And you're going to see I'm going to have 4 touchdown bets coming out later today for that game. But we're going to share today our best bets for each divisional round game. As I was kind of alluding to, we're all probably each going to have like 3 to 4 betting picks per game as we go through the divisional round. But today, it's our best bets. 5 picks each, so it's going to be one best bet per game, and then we're going to do a bonus pick at the end for one that kind of we were just feeling really good about, but we were like, you know what, I'm not limiting myself to 4 picks. So we're going to be also back next weekend for Conference Championship Sunday. We'll be there on Sunday, and then also Super Bowl Sunday for the final edition of Touchdown Town on the season. And before we get started with the picks, I just want to remind people to check out my weekly show, Dog Day Afternoon, at 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays here on the FTN Network. And I had my man Ryan Horvat with BetMGM tonight on the show. He gave some early leans into the divisional round and why I honestly think the Packers are just going to smoke the 49ers tonight. So you can check that out on the FTN Network YouTube channel. Brendan, I'm ready to go. How about you?
Let's roll.
All right. So first matchup of the weekend of the divisional round is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans. And my first touchdown bet for the weekend is Ryan Tannehill. I'm grabbing that anytime touchdown odds at plus 310. Those odds are available at FanDuel. I've actually seen them as high as plus 330, plus 340. And Brendan, I think you've been with me. We bet on a lot on Tannehill this season. Not getting them usually at the plus 500 spot that we're used to, but I feel like anything over plus 300 is the sweet spot for Tanny. The Bengals defensive line against the Raiders got a little banged up last week versus the Raiders, and they allowed over 5 yards per carry. I think the stats are a bit skewed as well for the Bengals because they didn't face a lot of quarterback red zone threats in 2021. As well, Tannehill, he scored 5 of his 7 touchdowns at home this season, and I think we see how this plays out. The Titans get within the 10-yard line, I formation, fake handoff to Derrick Henry. Tannehill walks in untouched. So that's kind of how I envision it. If you believe in that vision, you can go grab Ryan Tannehill now around plus 330, or maybe even plus 300 at some books. But that is my first pick of the divisional round.
Wasn't a doubt in my mind you were taking Ryan Tannehill this week. It wouldn't be a show without it. No, I like this pick a lot. He's got 7 touchdowns this year. Play action when he can kind of skirt in after, like with faking the handoff and running it himself. He's done that a few times. I love this one. He's been probably the best, actually, besides Jalen Hurts. I'm assuming he's probably been the top rushing quarterback this year. So this is a good pick.
Well, I'm glad you alluded to that because Jalen Hurts had 10 rushing touchdowns this year. Tannehill had 7. Mm-hmm. But for anybody who follows me, we do an anytime touchdown score tracker where we're able to track the betting odds week to week and to see how profitable they would be if you just bet on a respected player for the year. Ryan Tannehill was the second most profitable touchdown scorer in the NFL.
There you go.
And your boy number 1? Boston Scott.
Yeah, love it.
All right, well, let's hear your first pick of the weekend for Bengals Titans, Brendan.
Okay, so I'm going to the other side here. I'm going with Tyler Boyd plus 275. Those odds are available at DraftKings. He's been on a little bit of a streak here. Gilles, 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games, and he's actually starting to get more targets than T. Higgins, so you can even slot him almost into wide receiver number 2 role for this offense. He's out-targeted T. Higgins in his last 3 games. And I think the Titans pass defense, well, I don't think, I know it. They've been slouchy this year. They've allowed the 4th most touchdown passes to opposing wide receivers. They were 25th in passing yards allowed. So I do think they're going to be able to get their own. I'm assuming they're going to bracket coverage Jamar Chase, basically try to take him out of the game. So I think a Boyd is going to have to beat them if the Bengals are going to be successful.
I love this pick, man, because I'm probably betting Tyler Boyd today too. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, for when our picks come out a little bit later today. But I'm with you. When we were texting throughout the week, Tyler Boyd was just the same guy that we both kind of came to, more so than Higgins and Chase. I think just the odds are too low of where they're at. I mean, I don't mind the over, for example, on Chase, like receiving yards or maybe receptions. I just think from a value standpoint, Boyd offers the best value at this stage.
Yep.
Before we move on to the 49ers Packers, Brendan, I just wanted to know your thoughts on somebody I think that we're both going to be looking at tonight, and that is Jeff Swaim. Jeff Swaim, the tight end for the Titans right now. Tight ends for the Titans, so Anthony Firkser, Jeff Swaim, Michael Pruitt, they're kind of interchangeable, but I've seen Jeff Swaim, for example, as high as like plus 700 odds with some books. I have a sneaky suspicion he's going to get used today. Do you feel kind of the same way?
Oh, I agree, Jill. He, again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He's making my card. He's already made my card. I've already submitted it to the National Football Post. But yes, he is on my card. I got him at plus 500. I think that was the lowest I was going to go. But like you said, there are books where you can get him upwards of plus 700. He's played 73% of snaps, 5 of his last 6 games. He had a touchdown 2 weeks ago. And like we talked about a pre-show with Derrick Henry on the field, or Derrick Henry back, Jeff Swaim's our best blocking tight end. He's going to see a lot more snaps, I think.
Yeah, and when you even just looked at week 18 and week 17 and just looking at the snap counts and or routes run, they're pretty near identical, but I'm not paying a plus 350 premium for Firkser when Swaim has been on the field way more.
Agreed.
All right, let's now move on to the Saturday night game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Again, a game that I think we're going to probably see at least 5 touchdowns in. I'm going to have 4 touchdown picks available for that game that are coming out a little bit later today. But my best bet for this game, Brendan, is going to be Allen Lazard at plus 230. For me, Lazard, man, he finished the season with 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games, 8 touchdowns on the year, second on the team behind Davante Adams. And I think by default, he's kind of emerged as the true wide receiver 2 in this offense because MVS got ruled out. Randall Cobb is coming back from injury, so we're not going to be sure how effective he'll be. And so I think Lazard is going to have to play a lot in this one. In San Francisco, they've allowed 17 touchdowns to wide receivers this year, and they gave up 2 when they hosted Green Bay during the season, both to Davante Adams and to MVS, who is not playing. They also ranked bottom 10 in receiving yards and receptions to wide receivers in 2021. I've seen now Lazard drop to as low as plus 150, plus 160 at some books. So, and he's still available at plus 230, for example, at BetMGM. So Lazard is my best bet for San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay Packers matchup.
Lazard's been very friendly to the show this year, so I like this pick a lot. Yeah, no MVS is huge, so he's number 2 receiver, and I think they're going to do their best to stop Davante Adams, and you'll see in my next pick. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but I do think that the Packers wide receivers are going to get a ton of work today.
Well, let's hear more about that because your pick kind of goes a little bit deeper into that. I want to hear about who your best bet is for 49ers Packers.
Okay, so I couldn't overthink this one. This is probably my favorite player in the NFL. And if I could pick one guy in the league to put on the Eagles, my favorite team, it would be this guy. I'm going Davante Adams 2+ plus 420 at FanDuel. So just in his last 4 meaningful games, so week 18, he didn't play much. So week 14, he had 2 touchdowns. Week 15, he had a touchdown. Week 16, he had 2 touchdowns. Week 17, he had a touchdown. So he's been on a massive heater with touchdowns. He's the main target on the offense. He's had upwards of 18 targets in a game this year. He's going to see a ton of action today. And again, he's the best player on the field. Like he's literally the best player on the field whenever he's on the field. I guess you could take Aaron Rodgers away from that. But again, he's the best weapon on the field. And the 49ers have had the best run defense in the NFL. They are first in EPA per rush allowed. So I think it's going to be a tough go for the Packers on the ground. So I think they're going to have to air it out a lot. And that kind of goes to your Lazard pick as well.
Yeah, I think you could see a 3 to 4 touchdown day for Aaron Rodgers as well.
I agree. I think he's going to have a great day. I think he's going to have a great day.
And I think, I think a lot of people, the 49ers are a popular underdog to take today. I'm on the flip of that. I think the Packers roll this team. I think it's going to be a little bit more of, I think there's just a little bit more injury attrition that we're kind of letting on. Yes, Bosa is out of concussion protocol and is going to play. Yes, Fred Warner's ankle is healthy enough that he can play. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo is from Illinois. Big deal. He still has like a torn thumb and a torn shoulder kind of thing. Like, I just think that there's a lot of red flags for me for the 49ers. So I think that's why I'm going to be really banking heavily on the Green Bay Packers offense today to come through for both of us.
Yep.
All right, now, so that's our first two picks each, both for the Packers, 49ers, and the Bengals and Titans. We're going to move on to Sunday games now. Brendan, this was probably the hardest game I found to make a touchdown bet for because
F this game.
well, just it's not that I don't want to watch the game. I think it's a high-profile matchup, but the touchdown score odds are just not where they need to be to find really good value.
It's not Jill and Brendan friendly.
No, it's like the odds makers looked at it as like, what can we do to make sure that these two guys do not bet this game very much? Now, I still ended up finagling my way into 4 touchdown score bets for this game, just playing the odds here. But my best bet for Rams Buccaneers is going to be Tyler Higbee at plus 250. And just based on the matchup history, like he scored on the Bucs earlier this season. And you'd think that the Bucs defense with Levante David and Devin White would just make tight ends obsolete. But they were actually bottom 10 in receptions to tight ends this year and 6 touchdowns allowed to the position. So it's not like they were world beaters on that front. They're more of a team that just is able to kind of neutralize the run game. And from a snap count perspective, Higbee is the only reliable Ram. He played 100% of the snaps versus the Cardinals last week and 90% kind of average during the regular season. So he's on the field when it matters. And his red zone targets and snap counts have also increased over the final 6 weeks of the season. Now, I wanted to make Odell Beckham my best bet for this game. Little hint that he will likely make my card when it comes out tomorrow. But these were, to me, the best odds that I think you could get on a Rams skill player. So for me, at the Rams at plus 250 for Higbee, that is my best bet for Rams Buccaneers.
Love it. Yeah, I know he had a big day a few weeks ago on prime time as well. I think he had a 2 touchdown game there. He finds the end zone a lot, and I think they're going to have to look towards them. If you're Todd Bowles, he's going to do everything in their power to kind of take away Cooper Kupp. So I think it's going to be more of a Beckham, Jefferson, Higbee kind of game.
I find it funny too that like with Cooper Kupp, like everybody knows where the ball is going. He has like a 35% target share. It's first in the NFL. Like Stafford always looks for him, but it just seems odd that defensive coordinators won't just try to take him out of the game. And I mean, some of it as well is just how effective Kupp is, and that the fact that he can still know that defensive pressure is coming and still be able to kind of get open and get to the end zone. But it's frustrating for people who like to bet other touchdown scores for the Rams because of his large chunk of target share that he just kind of swallows up because he's so damn good. All right, now, Brendan, I think you also have a Ram that you're looking at for Rams Buccaneers. Why don't you tell the folks at home who you're betting as your best bet for that game?
Yeah, like Jill said earlier, I found this game tough to find some value, but I like this one a lot. I'm going Sony Michel plus 230.
I like
here.
that.
I think this is a good value here. That bet is available at DraftKings. He continued to get carries last week, even with Cam Akers on the field. He had 13 carries, played about 40% of the snaps. He's also the red zone back. He's kind of that bigger bruiser guy. So I think if you kind of get tight into the red zone, he will be on the field. And I'm still not trusting that Cam Akers is 100% healthy and they're going to be using him full time. So I do think that 40% snap share is still going to be there for Michel. For a running back in the Rams offense at plus 230, I think that's really good value.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to play Akers like 80% of the snaps. Like, yes, he played one or two games and kind of he looks good. But don't overdo it. You got to think about the future with this guy. And that's why you traded for Sony Michel during the season, is to be able to be this lead back in these types of scenarios. So to get those kinds of odds for what we both consider is the lead back and the better back at this time. I'm not saying that Sony Michel is going to have a better career or be better just even in the next few weeks than Cam Akers. But given the situation and given what the team is facing, Sony Michel should be the lead back in this spot. So getting him at these odds in a red zone position, great spot here, Brendan. All right, now let's look at the nightcap of Sunday. Honestly, I think this is the matchup that everybody wants to watch. And I think a lot of people, you can make a justification on both sides for which way this game is going. And that is the Buffalo Bills going into Arrowhead Stadium and facing the Kansas City Chiefs. For myself, I think the Chiefs secondary can be exposed. So I'm going with Gabriel Davis for an anytime touchdown at plus 300. Grab that at DraftKings. So as I was kind of alluding to with Davis, for me, he's the wide receiver 2 in this offense. And I think the stats speak for itself, because if you just look during the season, like he finished 3rd on the team in red zone targets. The divisional round game, he played 71% of the snaps versus the Patriots, comparatively to Emmanuel Sanders, who only played 46%, or Cole Beasley all the way down to 30% now. And the Chiefs secondary, they gave up 19 touchdowns to wide receivers this year. And there was a 5-game stretch during the year where they only allowed one. So like they've given up touchdowns in bunches to that position. They even gave up one to last week to Ben Roethlisberger, and he can barely move. So like the fact that Deontay Johnson still was able to get open for a touchdown in that spot, I think is very encouraging. And I think both of these teams are going to put up points. Like they're both top 5 in the NFL in pass attempts. They combined for 71 passing touchdowns. I think there's just plenty of touchdowns to go around in this game. So there's a lot of guys that I think you could justify to score. Gabriel Davis at plus 300 is my best bet for Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, plus 300 seems a little high, right? Like I felt like he should be in the plus 250 range, plus 260 maybe. I like this one a lot. He's really turned it on this year. I really liked him coming out of college last year as a rookie, and it's nice to see him having a year. So I think he's going to get some love in this game from Josh Allen. So yeah, I like this one a lot. Plus 300 is really good value.
Yeah, I mean, he looked fantastic last year, and then when they signed Emmanuel Sanders, he kind of got, I don't want to say demoted, but just definitely wasn't as prominent in the offense. Second half just slowly picked up, and you've been able to get good value on him throughout. You had him, for example, on a touchdown town once. I think he was like at plus $500 or something along those lines,
and it hit.
And hit it. So again, just the type of receiver that I think you want in this style of matchup. Now, so that's my fourth pick of the divisional round. Brendan, I want to hear your best bet for Bills Chiefs.
So kind of tailing off what you said earlier, I think the Chiefs secondary can be had, and I do think that the Bills are going to be able to air it out in this one. I'm taking a swing here. I'm going with Stephon Diggs 2+ plus 700. Those are available at FanDuel. Straight up, he's your top receiver. Like you can't really it's pretty self-explanatory. He's their number 1 wide receiver on the Bills. He's always on the field. He plays about 89% of snaps on average every single game. So you know he's going to be there. He's had double-digit targets in 8 games this year. So he's had that kind of volume where it justifies the 2+ touchdowns. And he's been a touchdown machine this year. He's had a 2+ touchdown game. I think plus 700 is enough juice. I was looking at it all week, and I was saying if it's at that plus 700 range, I'll hit it. When I saw it there, put it in right away. So I'm with you. I think that the Chiefs secondary can be had today or tomorrow.
And I think the one thing that I would like to kind of make clear, even though we kind of go off the beaten path and maybe take guys that are, in the 2+200 range, it is kind of accepted and kind of known that during the playoff games, a lot of the time they like to dance with the partner that got them there. So you're probably going to see a lot of targets from Cooper Kupp. You're going to probably see a lot of targets to Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs, because those are the guys that got them there, the most reliable targets that those teams have. So I think at plus 700, great spot to get that in. If you were getting it at like plus 450 or plus 500, I might be a little questionable about it, but at plus 700, man, absolutely. Like I'm actually surprised that you're able to get Devontae earlier at plus 420 in comparison to like where I've seen him as low as plus 350 in some matchups. All right, now we've given our best bet now for each divisional round game, but we each now have a bonus pick that we feel that is just as valuable as the other 4. We just didn't want to be able to come in, only make 4 picks and leave. So I'm going to get us started here. My bonus pick, Brendan, we're going with Patrick Mahomes anytime touchdown at plus 500. Grab that at Bet365. All right, so here's the case on why I'm taking Mahomes this week. 4 touchdowns in 8 career playoff games. If he ever decides to tuck and run at the goal line, he's likely going to score, because over the last 3 games, he has 8 yards per rushing attempt. He has the ability to run the ball, but just he has such appealing targets in Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce that why wouldn't you want to throw the ball? And the Bills, they were actually bottom 10 in rushing yards allowed to opposing quarterbacks, 5 rushing touchdowns to the position. So it's not like even though they have a strong defensive line and the Bills on paper, they have a good defense, they have been beaten that way before. And when I locked this in on Thursday, his odds for Mahomes were around like plus 400 at best at like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. So when I kind of saw this at plus 500 at Bet365, I was like, all right, screw this. I'm locking this in now, and I feel good about it. And it's just difficult to find value on Chiefs players specifically. And that's been the case since Patrick Mahomes has blown up, that it's like you can't get Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce better than like plus 105 in some cases. So Patrick Mahomes anytime touchdown at plus 500 is my bonus pick and my 5th best bet of the divisional round.
4 rushing touchdowns in his last 9 playoff games. So plus 5.
I thought it was 8. My bad. You know what I probably did is I probably excluded last week's game.
I added on last week. So yeah, no, but even then, it's still good value at plus 500 right there. So yeah, this one's making my card as well.
All right. Now, Brendan, you have a bonus pick. I want to hear this one because, again, your odds are always kind of going through the roof here, but this one's actually, it feels like it's a little bit more of a measured pick. And I really want to hear more analysis on this. So let the folks know now who your bonus pick is for the divisional round.
Well, like you kind of see a trend with my picks. I'm taking star wide receivers. I don't know if this guy's been a star this year. Well, he definitely hasn't, and maybe over the last couple of years. But one of my favorite players going up watching, Julio Jones, plus 275. Those odds are pretty juicy, and they're available at DraftKings. Like this one's kind of just a feeler one. I think that Derrick Henry is going to get a ton of attention in the red zone. AJ Brown as well. Like just having Julio Jones as your third option.
Over plus 200 though.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like the Titans just have an embarrassment of riches right now. So I think this plus 275, really good value. He had 9 targets and a touchdown last week. That was kind of his first week back fully healthy in the offense. So I think he's going to have a big postseason. He's going to be crucial to them winning at least. So they're either going to go down with him or with going to him, or if he drops or doesn't make the plays, then that's what they're going to go down with. But I do think he has a big weekend, and plus 275 is a really good value for a player with his caliber.
If you just think of the last few years of Julio Jones and betting him as a touchdown scorer, at best with the Falcons, you could get him at plus 150.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pick though, and this is where I'm with you, is that because you're not going to have a lot of stats to lean on for this year because he was hurt a lot, right? So you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh, well, he was like 7th in red zone targets. It's like, yeah, but he only played like 3 games, maybe 4 throughout the year. And you didn't trade for him to just kind of have him as a decoy. And I think that this is the type of reason why he was nursed a little bit more during the season, so that way he could be ready for these style of games and be that kind of third down reliable target with him and AJ Brown. So I love this pick. I think it's great. I think I like Tyler Boyd just a little bit more, but at the same time, Julio, if you're going to be taking a pass catcher on that side for the Titans, that would be the guy I'd be looking at.
Yep. No, I think he just 9 targets and touchdown last week. Like that translates into the playoffs. He's getting some targets. He's getting healthier, so I think it's really good value here. But yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend, man.
Yeah, so that's our 5 best bets each for the divisional round. So that's 5 picks from me, 5 picks from Brendan. And as I alluded to at the start of the show, we're going to see you next weekend for the conference championship on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And as we also alluded to, these aren't our only bets for each game. We each probably have 3 or 4 touchdown score picks for each divisional round game. I'm going to have separate videos breaking down those picks coming out for the 49ers and the Packers, and then tomorrow for the Bills and the Chiefs. My extra picks for Bengals, Titans, and Rams, Bucks, those will be just posted right to Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter at GDog5000. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at BrendanDeegNFP. And if you're already subscribed to FTN Bets, you can head over to the pick tracker and you can get those picks now. So I want to thank everybody for watching the divisional round edition of Touchdown Town. That's Brendan Deeg of National Football Post. I'm Gilles Gallant with FTN Bets. Bon chance.